He just wanted a good grade, but he got so much more, and not at all what he expected. The movie begins with Jamie, a diligent student, giving her teacher, Ms. Cohen, a farewell gift as Cohen is leaving the school. Cohen reassures Jamie, praising her strong academic performance and encouraging her to keep up the hard work so she can attend any college she wishes. Jamie then asks Cohen about her replacement, Ms. Matson, who Cohen describes as a talented teacher she thinks Jamie will enjoy. The next day, Ms. Matson starts her class and introduces herself, immediately assigning a test to the students, explaining that she is following Cohen's plan. After class, Matson approaches Danny, asking about his grades and reminding him he needs to maintain them to stay on the baseball team. Danny asks if they can discuss his grades after school, and Matson agrees. During their conversation, Matson asks if he has a girlfriend, and Danny mentions Jamie, whom he admires. Despite knowing Danny is in a relationship, Matson starts to take an interest in him. She offers him extra help with his assignments, suggesting that she's available after school on Thursdays. Danny declines, explaining that he plans to spend his upcoming anniversary weekend with Jamie. Matson then asks for his phone number so she can assist him with his assignments. The following day, Jamie is disappointed to receive a C on her paper and approaches Matson to ask if she can improve her grade, as she needs high marks to secure a college scholarship. Matson assigns her additional work due the next day, making it difficult for Jamie to revise her paper. Jamie, worried, decides to prioritize her college goals over her relationship with Danny. When she tells Danny she can't spend time with him because she's busy with her paper, he becomes frustrated, arguing that grades aren't everything. Jamie counters, explaining her family's financial struggles and how important scholarships are to her, unlike Danny, whose parents paid for his education. Danny then gives Jamie an anniversary gift and leaves, feeling hurt. Meanwhile, Danny's baseball team suffers a loss, adding to his disappointment. Unable to enjoy his anniversary with Jamie, he ends up going to a bar with Ms. Matson, who encourages him to have a beer, assuring him she won't tell anyone. Their conversation centers around his relationship with Jamie and his struggles. The next day, Jamie is disheartened to see she received another C on her paper, even after following Matson's advice. She suspects Matson may have something against her and confides in a friend, who encourages her to speak to Matson again. After class, Jamie notices Matson and Danny having a close conversation, which only heightens her suspicions. Danny tells Matson that his coach may drop him from the baseball team, but she reassures him that if he improves his grades, he'll remain on the team. She offers him extra tutoring and empathizes with his concerns about meeting his parents' expectations of attending a prestigious college like Stanford. Danny opens up about his family, and Matson in turn shares a bit about her own life, mentioning she never knew her biological parents and that her foster mother passed away from an insulin overdose. Later, Jamie meets with Danny and confides that Ms. Matson is unfairly grading her work, giving her lower marks despite her efforts. Danny questions why Matson would do that, but Jamie just looks frustrated. When she tries to ask another question, Danny has to leave to run errands for his mom. Later, Danny confronts Matson, asking if she's intentionally giving Jamie low grades. Matson replies by asking what Jamie has told him, and Danny says it was nothing specific. Matson reassures him that Jamie is simply overthinking things. They share a kiss, and when Danny turns around, he sees Jamie watching them from outside the house. Shocked, Jamie walks away quickly. Danny rushes after her, ignoring Matson's attempts to stop him. Outside Matson's house, Danny catches up to Jamie, who struggles to hold back tears, feeling betrayed by his relationship with her teacher. Danny tries to justify his actions, but Jamie doesn't trust him. Attempting to reassure her, Danny says he'll address the situation, and they go back to Jamie's house. The following morning, Matson approaches Jamie and apologizes, admitting she was wrong in giving her a C on the second paper, and changes it to an A. Jamie responds sarcastically, pointing out that this apology doesn't fix the situation with Matson and Danny. Later, Matson speaks to the principal, reporting that Jamie has been acting aggressively. Although the principal wants to speak to Jamie, Matson insists she can handle it and secure a positive outcome. In the parking lot, Danny checks in on Jamie, who tells him Matson raised her grade, but admits she feels it was done out of guilt. Danny assures Jamie that he plans to break up with Mattson that night. Jamie tells him that afterward, Mattson is welcome to discuss their relationship. Danny arranges to meet Mattson in the park. When she receives his text, she feels excited. At the park, Jamie initially expresses interest in him, but Danny remains firm, telling her he disapproves of how she's treated Jamie. Mattson tries to persuade him to stay, but he walks away, leaving her in tears. In a moment of desperation, Mattson gets into her car and, in a reckless decision, runs into Danny. She quickly hides his body, cleans the car, and later plants Danny's blood on Jamie's car without her knowledge. The next morning, the police discuss the case of a teenager found dead in the park. Meanwhile, Jamie repeatedly tries to call Danny, but he doesn't answer. A short while later, Jamie's mom informs her that the police called. They have found Danny's body. The police request Jamie and her mom come to the station. At the station, they meet Danny's parents, who blame Jamie for their son's death. Tensions rise, but the police intervene to calm them down. When questioned, Jamie explains that Danny had planned to come to her house after breaking up with his girlfriend, Mattson. Surprised, the police ask if Jamie has any evidence of the teacher-student relationship between Mattson and Danny. Later, the police visit Mattson at her home. She denies any special relationship with Danny, claiming Jamie is just making false accusations. Mattson adds that Jamie's behavior has changed in the past week. When asked where she was during the incident, Mattson says she was at the movie theater. The next day, police arrive at Jamie's house to search for clues. They find blood on the front of Jamie's car. Shocked and confused, Jamie doesn't know how to respond, and the police arrest her for Danny's death. Jamie's parents reassure her, saying she'll be free soon. While Jamie is in jail, her mother keeps a close watch on Mattson, noticing her strange behavior. Soon as Jamie's parents had hoped, she is released. Convinced Mattson killed Danny, Jamie devises a plan to make her confess. That night, Jamie sneaks out to Mattson's house. Just as Jamie is close to getting her to admit the crime, Mattson realizes her intentions and tries to harm Jamie.
Look who's pathetic now! Don't like that, do you?
Mattson is furious about the found recorder and approaches Jamie. As Mattson swings to strike, a detective catches her by the arm and disarms her. Fortunately, the police arrive in time and arrest Mattson. Later, the police discover that this isn't Mattson's first incident with a student. She had hidden her past well enough to relocate to LA. The next morning, Jamie receives a letter from White Andale University congratulating her on her acceptance. Please remember to like and subscribe to our channel.